Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ's post Smackdown review for March 26th, 2019. The road to WrestleMania had a few twists and turns on tonight's show. I will be talking about Smackdown Live, giving my review. Real quick, just a reminder to people out there that might send in a super chat tonight. Please try to stick to the topic. If you are going to send a super chat, if you want to go off topic, please wait until after I'm done with the review, just so I'm not going all over the place. I know last night got a little bit out of control, but I really do appreciate all the super chats from last night. Anyways, let's go ahead and get down to the SmackDown review. The show kicked off with a New Day promo. They were still somewhat cheery, and as Corey Graves or one of the announcers said, they were being professional about what happened last week where Kofi Kingston basically got screwed out of his WWE title match at WrestleMania. So Xavier Woods got on the mic and he channeled Lance Storm by saying, if we could be serious to New Day rocks and how the group has evolved over the years. They talked about how they considered quitting as a result of Kofi being screwed. Big E brought up how Kofi Kingston exudes the power of positivity and says that Kofi does not know the word quit. Big E said that they need answers before they actually make their decision. This led to Vince McMahon coming out to confront the New Day. Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan also came out and said to Vince, let them quit. Daniel Bryan was great here. Bryan was talking about how the New Day is nothing more than a stale novelty act. And then he said WWE could just bring in 3 NXT guys, call them Fresh Afternoon, and throw waffles around, and it would be the same thing. Daniel Bryan once again referred to Kofi as a B-plus player. And Bryan added that Vince has been right all along about Kofi Kingston every step of the way. And said that Vince is right, the people are wrong. Alex James with the first super chat of the night, 99 cents, no comment though. Thank you for that, Alex. Wrestling Fortune 44 left a $5 super chat, says, I was at Raw last night, was wondering if I could call in. Yes, you can. After the review is over, I'll open up Skype and you can call in with your thoughts on Raw. Hamp Connell with a $2 super chat says, SmackDown is nothing but a lead up to Temptation Island. Ouch. That might be the savage comment of the night so far. We'll have to see if somebody can top that one. So Vince responded to Daniel Bryan. He said that he never was convinced that New Day were going to quit. He said that Kofi will always be a B-plus player. But his question for Xavier and Big E, are they a B-plus tag team? Vince decided to give Kofi one more opportunity. If Xavier and Big E could win the tag team gauntlet match later on, Kofi Kingston would get his opportunity at WrestleMania. So there we go. For those of you that love gauntlet matches, you got yet another one on this show. We were wondering, what would WWE do? Would New Day protest, or would they occupy SmackDown? No, WWE just decided, let's do a tag team gauntlet match instead. Zo My God Ruler with a $2 super chat says, Aaron, I'm very happy. I want to call in too. I appreciate the fact that you're happy and thank you for the super chat, but I am just going to limit it to one tonight, just because I have commitments after this as far as the NoDQ review goes. So got to keep this video relatively short tonight. So I did promise that I would answer the call about Raw, so I will do that. But next NoDQ and live, I'll be taking more calls from you guys, so stay tuned for that. Why Pipo CX says, who's a better team, the New Day or the Shield? Well, I would say as far as credibility goes, I would go with the Shield, but New Day has been one of the better factions in WWE, probably right up there with the Shield. I'm glad you guys like the NoDQ Galaxy shirt. If you would like to pick up one, head over to NoDQ.com/shirts. You can get a shirt, NoDQ Galaxy, NoDQ.com. We have 20 plus designs on there, repping all the different personalities of NoDQ. So head over there, NoDQ.com/shirts. Pretty much everyone in the chat room agrees that the Shield is the better faction. Michael Wayne, Ma Wrestling, Hamp Connell, they all say Shield. Keith Johnson with a $5 super chat says, question of the week, Aaron. JBL was a mid-card tag team competitor prior to his big push in 2004. What's the difference here with Kofi Kingston? There really isn't much of a difference other than WWE decided to capitalize on Kofi's momentum. Kofi was part of that gauntlet replacing Mustafa Ali, or excuse me, should I say Ali, and that went over really well. And then Kofi's performance at Elimination Chamber went really well, so WWE decided to go with Kofi as the guy for WrestleMania, which really just goes to show that there wasn't any sort of long-term plan for WrestleMania as far as Daniel Bryan's opponent goes. I think WWE was just up in the air with that. Reportedly, Kevin Owens was going to be the guy to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and WWE decided to go with Kofi instead. So yeah, it is what it is. I don't think it's as bad as the whole situation with Jinder Mahal getting the big push. But at the same time, Kofi was a mid-carder for a long time, and all of a sudden, he's beating all the top guys, and New Day, they're beating all the top tag teams in the gauntlet. But I'll get to that more here in a few minutes. We had a backstage segment with Becky Lynch being interviewed by a woman who looks somewhat like Charlotte Flair. Becky said that Charlotte is undeserving of being in the match. She's an undeserving third wheel. Charlotte came out and wanted to prove to Becky that she's not an undeserving third wheel. This led to an impromptu championship match. Charlotte challenging Asuka for the SmackDown Live women's title. No build-up, just randomly taking place. How Charlotte got the opportunity, we don't know. The announcers were confused. But anyways, back and forth match here between the two of them. Lots of near falls, but surprising, well, not really a surprising outcome once this was announced. I figured, okay, we're getting a title change here. Otherwise, why even do this? Charlotte is the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion via the figure eight. Asuka tapped out to the figure eight. Mixed reactions from people on social media. Some people like it. Some people are furious that Asuka got buried even further. But I don't know. Eddie Smith with the $2 super chat says, Charlotte already halfway to Ric Flair's record. That's right. She's now an 8-time women's champion. So she ties, I believe, Trish Stratus for the most championship reigns. Or maybe she beat Trish. I'm not sure if Trish had 7 or 8, guys. Somebody may have to look that up. Where's Greg Cherry? Where's our reigning and defending wrestling trivia champion, who's set to face Jeff Meacham on April 4th, by the way, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Apparently Trish has 7, so there you go. Charlotte has broken yet another record. Alex Pershing with a $2 super chat says, both titles on the line at Mania, then the titles merge? Question mark. That's a great question. So I may have brought this up a while ago. I think I even said Charlotte should just beat Asuka, win the title, and then WWE should merge the women's championships at WrestleMania and just have one champion that appears on both brands. I think it should happen, and that's why I'm okay with this. If they're going to merge the titles, winner take all at WrestleMania, it's the main event, I'm fine with it. If the SmackDown women's title is not on the line at WrestleMania, then I'm just going to be, what the hell? Because you pretty much screwed over Asuka. And to be honest here, she really wasn't going anywhere. It's not like she had this huge match for WrestleMania. She was set to face either Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, or Naomi at WrestleMania, and that match got completely thrown out. So all those women lost the chance to be on the kickoff or whatever it was going to be. Keith Johnson says with a $2 super chat, sorry, Aaron was saying if JBL can, why not Kofi? Yeah, I mean, JBL got this sudden push, and I mean, I was critical of JBL's push just because he was a mid-carder for the longest time, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to buy into him as a world champion. I was never a big fan of it, and I was very vocal about it. Yeah, I didn't like JBL being the world champion, but yeah, I mean, Kofi, you can argue like he was held down for the longest time. WWE can play that card. The guy that was way more talented than he was actually being pushed, and the company was just keeping him at a certain level when he could have been at a higher level. It's a bit far-fetched and hard to believe, but people are into it, so whatever. And yeah, as far as the triple threat match, I'm fine with Charlotte being the champion if it's going to be a unification match, winner take all. If not, then I'm going to question the decision because you basically screwed over Asuka worse than she was already screwed over. And by the way, what was the point of Asuka beating Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble? She's not even going to be on WrestleMania unless she's in a women's battle royal or some throwaway kickoff match. Why even have Asuka beat Becky in the first place? I don't know. Moving on here, we had AJ Styles interviewed about his match with Kurt Angle, says that Angle may have laid the foundation in WWE, but it's the house that AJ Styles built. Based Ash Ketchum with a $5 super chat says, Charlotte is leaving WrestleMania with both titles and the wrestling fans are going home upset, laughing my ass off. Bye-bye, Asuka. Hashtag woo. Woo! I don't think that's going to happen. I think Becky's winning the title. I would be shocked. Let me just say this, and I'll be on record with this. If Becky doesn't win the title, that will be among the stupidest decisions that WWE has ever made. I'll just leave that. You can save that soundbite of what I just said. Really bad idea if Becky doesn't win. I don't think she's going to lose, but, you know, it is WWE. Brock Lesnar retained all those years we thought he was going to lose, so anything's possible. $5 super chat here from Mike B. He says, did you get the message I sent you on Facebook Messenger? Thanks for putting my name on that shirt. I'm not sure I did, Mike B. I don't know if it was about the whole Buffalo thing, but I don't think I saw it. Are we even friends on Facebook? Maybe I missed it. Just try sending it again or tweet me or something or email me. NoDQMISC@gmail.com. Don Wooding with a $5 super chat says, we'll be watching Aaron's cat videos on WrestleMania. Also need to make a new shirt for Virtue. Need to add to my collection, please, Aaron. Hashtag Virtue's Army for Life. All right, well, Donald, I know you're in Canada. Make sure you come to the NoDQ meetup. You can meet your idol, Virtue. You can have lunch with him. You guys can chill like brothers. Be there or be square, SummerSlam weekend. By the way, cheap plug for that, too. I'm getting all my cheap plugs in. NoDQ.com/Toronto. That will be where we'll be having the NoDQ meetup prior to SummerSlam. RSVP if you're going to be anywhere in the Toronto area that day. Even if you're not going to SummerSlam, come join us for lunch. NoDQ.com/Toronto. So we had AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle, and if you tuned into this show hoping to see something lengthy between these two, them actually have a match against each other that had some substance to it, you were very disappointed. They had a handshake to start off the match. Right away, AJ Styles got the calf crusher on, and then Angle reversed it into the ankle lock, and I was starting to wonder, what's going on here? Are these guys rushing through this? Is something going to happen? And sure enough, just as I was thinking that, Randy Orton shows up, hits the RKO on AJ Styles, and the match is thrown out. Literally like 2 minutes into the match. Kurt Angle hit an Angle slam, a very bad one, by the way. Just goes to show, it's really Angle's time to call it a career. Angle hit the Angle slam on Randy Orton, and that was that. Then we had Rey Mysterio cut a promo, said he's going to teach Samoa Joe a lesson and stand up for his family by defeating Joe and winning the United States Championship at WrestleMania. Then we had The Miz do an in-ring promo. He said that Shane McMahon's actions lit a fire in Miz that he didn't know he had. He said that Shane had made this personal, and now The Miz wants Shane McMahon at WrestleMania in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Shane McMahon came out with security, and not only security, but he had Job Squad 2.0, aka Shelton Benjamin, and a couple of other guys. Sanity was out there. Miz was just standing there as Shane did his promo. Shane said that the security was there to protect Miz from Shane, and then Shane said that Miz suggesting a Falls Count Anywhere match just goes to show that Miz is as dumb as his father looks. And then he proceeded to show a pic of Miz's dad on the big screen and said that watching that footage just makes him feel better with every viewing of it. Shane McMahon proceeded to accept the stipulation for WrestleMania and then said the biggest Miz take was that the Miz's dad impregnated Miz's mom. Miz had enough. Enough was enough. He could not stand no more. He went after the security and then started fighting with the Job Squad. He beat up Shelton Benjamin. And then he proceeded to beat up the entire Sanity faction. So, yeah, poor Sanity. They're dead in the water. They're getting beat up by Miz when it was like 5-on-1. So, yeah. It was a nice run you guys had, Sanity. Nice run while it lasted. So next up, we had the Iconics cut a promo about the tag team titles match. It will be a fatal four-way match. Bayley and Sasha defending against Nia Jax, Tamina, and then Becky Lynch, Beth Phoenix, and Natalya, and then the Iconics. Fatal four-way match. Then we had the main event segment, the New Day Gauntlet. Kofi Kingston was banned from ringside, just like Xavier and Big E were banned last week on SmackDown. Alex Pershing with the $2 super chat says, New Day and Miz whooping all the heels. None are credible. Pretty much. I mean, name a credible heel on SmackDown right now. Samoa Joe keeps losing, and he's the U.S. champion. Sanity got destroyed on this week's show. And speaking of getting destroyed, first tag team for the Gauntlet, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they lost in about a minute to the up, up, down, down finisher from Xavier and Big E. So, yeah, looks like those guys are on their way out. I mean, this was clear as day here, them losing in a minute. At least with Ambrose, you know WWE wants to keep him. They're not just burying the guy. They're having him in competitive matches. I mean, Drew McIntyre could have beat him in a minute, and that didn't happen. So it's pretty clear here WWE is just, they're done with Anderson and Gallows, and this was just something to make Big E and Xavier look strong. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. More of a competitive match than the first one. Actually, Shinsuke and Rusev were on the verge of winning, but New Day were able to come back, won again with the up, up, down, down. And then we had the Bar come out for the third match. This was the most competitive of the three. New Day barely got through the Bar, squeaked by with a victory, wasn't even the finisher, the up, up, down, down. After the match, Sheamus and Cesaro were frustrated. They beat the crap out of the New Day, and then they power bombed Big E through a table that they brought from under the ring. Then this led to the Usos coming out. Usos came down. They, instead of doing a match with the New Day, they cut a promo, talked about how Kofi Kingston deserves the WWE title opportunity. The fans agree. They're behind Kofi. And then one of the Usos, not sure which one, said, good luck, Goose. We forfeit. Usos left, and that was that. Daniel Bryan was furious about this. Bryan and Rowan were backstage watching. Bryan said, this is bull crap. it started throwing things around. He broke the television, a perfectly good television back there, that son of a bitch. And then that led to Bryan and Eric Rowan being the final two members of the gauntlet match. Oh My God Ruler with a $2 super chat says, Usos showing respect equals great storytelling. Yeah, I liked this. I actually thought that this was well done here with the Usos just forfeiting the match and refusing to take out the New Day and ruin Kofi's dream. I like that. I thought that that was good. Now the question is, will Vince get on the Usos' case? Will he punish them? Or will there be any follow-up to that whatsoever? Probably not, but we'll see. Autumn Falson says, Aaron, your passion of this business makes you one of the GOATs. Read this out, please. Well, thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. Again, I try my best here every week to give the most honest and fair review possible. And some shows are great, some are not so great. I try to be balanced with my reviews of the shows. So thank you for that. We had Rowan and Bryan as the final two. Big E hit the big ending on Daniel Bryan, but Eric Rowan broke it up. Eric Rowan was going to use the announce table on the outside, but then Big E turned the tables, literally turned the table on Eric Rowan, flipping the table over onto Eric Rowan so he could not escape, and that led to Eric Rowan getting counted out. That's right. Eric Rowan counted out, and therefore New Day win the gauntlet. Kofi Kingston going to WrestleMania. Now, of course, if you were on NoDQ.com earlier today, you knew the result of this because WWE released advertisements for WrestleMania advertising Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. So, nice job there, whoever was responsible for that video promo. Nico with a $2 super chat says, Hi, Aaron, big fan. Can we get one more NoDQ CAW? Never say never, but until there's a game on the Switch that is quality, probably not going to happen. But perhaps one day I will bring it back for at least one more episode, for those of you that even know what that is. So we had Vince McMahon interviewed backstage as he was getting into his limo. Vince was asked about Kofi. Is Kofi getting the opportunity? Vince hesitated and then said, yes. But then added, can a B-plus player win the WWE Championship? And then he left. The locker room emptied out. Kevin Owens was all happy. Everybody was happy. They got in the ring. They started pounding on the ring. They were cheering, celebrating, and everyone was just thrilled about this. So there you go. New Day won. Kofi Kingston going to WrestleMania to face the new Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. So what did you guys think of this show? I thought it was fine. I mean, I wasn't as furious about the Asuka thing as some people. I don't think it was a total go-home show, but I thought it was all right. I'm going to give this show a B-, a little bit better than Raw, but I don't think in any sense it was a home run. Let's see some of the letter grades from you guys for this show. Big G with a Big G with a B. Thank you, Roman Reigns with a B-. Caleb Jacobs with an A-. Oh My God Ruler with an A. Jeremy Dorset with a B-. Boston Punk with a B. James Allen, B-. Survivor Series, B. Chat Site Forums with a B. CC Drink with a C. Great Tribulation with a D-. Wow, that is really low. Over the Top Rope with a D. Converse Craig with a B+ player. So mixed bag, but it looks like a lot of Bs. I mean, I think people enjoyed the show for the most part. Big G with a $2 super chat says, will Aaron cut NoDQ personalities' names as well? Oh, you mean cutting them short. Well, I was thinking about maybe changing Kayfabe Candy Ass to just Ass, but I really don't want to be that much of a prick. So I'll spare him that. How else can we cut Big G? Just call you G from now on? All right, so that's my thoughts on SmackDown. Thank you guys so much for your feedback here regarding SmackDown. I will take that Skype call But other than that, I got nothing else to add here regarding No DQ Live. I'll give him a minute to send his call in, and then otherwise I will sign off here. Just as a reminder, oh, wait a minute. Dylan with a $5 super chat says, sorry, but I cannot take Kofi seriously as world champion. This whole angle just felt forced. World champion should only be reserved for the elite. Well, very valid point there, Dylan, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that. Some people feel like Kofi Kingston should have been pushed more gradually and that it just doesn't make sense when he was at that lower level for so long. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Dylan. Appreciate it. We have Owen Finch here on. Owen, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for calling in. So you were at Raw last night, correct?
Correct, I was.
So let's go ahead and just real quick, your thoughts on the show. What did you like? What did you not like?
So I enjoyed my time. Typically, when you always go to a wrestling show, you find that you enjoy it, more than when you're watching it at home.
For sure.
I will say if I had watched the show at home, I probably would have given it the same grade, probably the C range, but it went up to like a B minus-ish just because I was there.
Fair enough.
One thing, though, like the beginning of Raw was very confusing because if you were in the building, you didn't really know why they were having like a beat the clock challenge because
right.
It wasn't. Oh crap! Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, you froze on my end, so sorry about that.
No worries.
But yeah, anyhow, yeah, it was just very confusing because everyone was kind of confused about why they were doing like a beat the clock challenge. We weren't sure if we missed something because we can't hear the commentators, so we weren't sure if it was like some type of special stipulation was on the line or something like that. So, and other things I liked, that last man standing match was fun because I got to see more of the match than you did because it didn't feel like a 5-minute match but it was a little short.
Right.
Triple H got a big pop because it's in New England. Someone that didn't get as big of a pop as I thought they would was Roman Reigns because, it wasn't in the same place, but New England was where he announced he had his leukemia. So I thought, because it was in Rhode Island that one time, he would get like a bigger reaction than he did. Sasha Banks got no reaction. That was kind of a surprise to me.
Oh, wow.
When she was about to win, she got a big pop, but when she came out, there was just nothing, like dead. And the SNL guys, I don't remember the names off the top of my head, they were booed very heavily when they came up on the Titantron. Even before, they did the guy put the New York Yankees hat on. So that was kind of cool because it just shows that like no one wants to see those guys. So, and then one thing is they did a bit afterwards where Elias came out and that was kind of funny because he technically wasn't supposed to be there. So they tried to utilize that by saying like he drove really fast to get all the way to Boston. And he did a segment where, obviously he did the Gronk reference because he just left the Patriots. And then he was interrupted by Seth Rollins and he wanted him to send the song shipping off to Boston. And Seth Rollins laid him out with the stomp. So that was a nice bit because everyone got to kind of go home happy with that. So
very cool.
Yeah, but everyone was really into Kurt versus Joe. That was pretty cool because a lot of people wanted to see that. So
at least you guys got a longer match than the Smackdown match with AJ.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite match of the night. I know, it probably didn't come across well on TV, but everyone liked it because it was Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. They wanted to see it live and stuff like that. So
right. Well, it sounds like you had a fun show. What was the crowd size like? I mean, it looked pretty full from what I could tell on television.
Yeah, it was actually pretty full. So I was on the balcony. I was in the first row. And I could see the actual wrestlers come out when they would make their entrances and stuff through the curtain. And the only empty seats I really saw were the ones directly across from me towards the camera side, but it wasn't like it was noticeably empty. It was there was only a few empty seats. It did get emptier as the night went on. I think a lot of people kind of left after the Braun Strowman segment.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it was just kind of families that were leaving, kids fell asleep and stuff like that.
Right.
if you've ever been to Boston before, it gets very trafficy on the way back.
Oh,
So
I
I think
bet.
that's probably why a lot of people were leaving, I would say.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your feedback regarding Monday Night Raw. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
So I'll promote my 3 YouTube channels. CM Brothers. Make sure you guys check that out. And then Owen the Talkinator. We're getting on the verge of finally, finishing Breaking Bad. We only have to do, I only have to watch the last 3 episodes, and then,
Very
review
nice.
those. We were supposed to do 12 and 13 today, but that's just not. I just got a text that that's not going to happen now, so that's a disappointment. And then Wrestling Fortune 44, and obviously, um,
Wait, so are you at Ozymandias yet?
I just watched I don't know how to pronounce it, but the
Tahajali, I
24,
think it's how it's pronounced. Is that the one?
huh?
Tahajali?
Yeah, that one. I just finished that one. Yeah.
Oh, that
Um,
one's so good. Both of those are back to back, like just two best
yeah.
television episodes,
So
in
it
my
is.
opinion,
So it
ever.
is happening. It actually is happening. We're gonna review 12 and 13, and then we'll review the last 3, and then Wrestling Fortune 44, where I post all my wrestling content. And check out because Stefan and Jerry will kill me if I don't promote this. After match wrestling. All of the NXT and the NXT parties, because those guys are really good at what they do and stuff.
Absolutely,
And
for sure.
205 Live videos too.
205 Live matters, folks.
Yep. All right. Well, I won't keep you, Aaron. Have a good night. And
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for letting me call in.
Absolutely, not a problem. You have a great night. Thank you so much again.
You too, man.
All right, take care, my friend.
You too.
All right, good night.
Good night.
All right, so that was Owen Finch. So on that note, thank you, Owen, for calling in. Very much appreciated. I will go ahead and wrap up this episode of the NoDQ live stream. I will be back next week for more. We got the NXT. We got WrestleMania week, so a lot of things happening here. Wait a second. Dylan just sent in a $2 super chat, keeping me around here. G1 card at WrestleMania, or no, let me say that again. G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden is better than WrestleMania 35. Well, I mean, everyone has their own tastes, and I'm sure that's going to be a stellar show. So if you're a fan of that style, the pure wrestling, then you're going to have a great time. I'm sure it's going to be a very entertaining show. It's going to be a great weekend for wrestling fans because you got something for everybody. Marcus disagrees, though. Well, not completely, but somewhat. Marcus with a $2 super chat says TakeOver is better than G1. So I guess TakeOver better than G1, better than WrestleMania. Is that what we got going here right now? But regardless of which show you prefer, it is the biggest weekend of the year for wrestling fans. There's so much content. So whatever you like, there's going to be something for you. If you want the big show, you got WrestleMania. If you want New Japan, you want that pure wrestling, you got that show with New Japan and Ring of Honor. You have all the indie shows. You have NXT. Lots of content for everybody. Plenty to go around. Some might say too much content, especially if you like everything, then you really got to pick and choose, or you're going to be watching wrestling 24/7. And of course, don't forget the trivia match on Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Jeff Meacham will face Greg Cherry in a 1-hour trivia Iron Man match, the biggest wrestling trivia match of all time. That's coming up next week. I got the NXT predictions, WrestleMania predictions. It's going to be a busy week on NoDQ for sure. So stay tuned for all that. I'm sure Greg Cherry will have another stream this weekend. Look out for that. I believe it's Sunday.